I was planning to spend the day driving to the nearest city, which is about an hour away, to get some shopping done. But the temporary cap on my tooth had fallen off, so I dropped the kids at school and went straight to the dentist. He told me he'd help me at 2:30, and I went home to find painkillers and relax. I was in bed when it hit. I was in the bedroom that I'd already been told nobody should sleep in. My house is old, you see, and it's been added to over the years without a lot of thought. Now, I kept having nightmares that we would have an earthquake and a tsunami, and since we were overdue for a big earthquake, and I was told my house wouldn't survive an earthquake, I bought earthquake insurance, just in case. The room started to roll slowly, and I ran. I was going to get out of my house. I ran through the kitchen, through the living room, out into the yard, clear of all the trees, and I held onto a palm tree that had the top cut off it, and I was holding onto that while I felt the ground heave beneath me. The tree trunk kept me standing up while I watched the clay roof tiles shoot off my roof like sleds sliding down a mountain. When the ground stopped moving, I went inside and I called my dad, who lives here. There's been a decent earthquake. You'll hear about it. I'm on my way to get Julie from school. The power was off, and everything in my house was also off. Off the shelves, on the floor, but the house was still standing. I took my keys, didn't look for damage, and I drove out heading for the school. My daughter's school is 10 minutes from my house, close to the hotel, which is my business, and on the ocean. I didn't know what would happen next, but I knew I wanted to be with my child. My cell phone rang and another parent asked me to get their kid. So when I got to the kids' school, all the kids were lined up. I loaded up my daughter, her boyfriend, the other child, and the boyfriend's sister. The school had just been told there was a 20-minute tsunami warning. Julie's friend Maya asked to come with us, but the school wouldn't let me take her because I didn't have her parents' permission. I said goodbye to her, wondering if I would ever see her again. 20 minutes. I had to wonder if that meant the tsunami would hit in 10 minutes, 20 minutes from the time of the earthquake, or if we still had 20 minutes. The kids had heard it was a 7.6 centered 40 miles south. I had the radio on in the car, and all it said was, "Don't panic," and then played another song from the 70s. I did not feel like not panicking. I drove to my hotel, which sits right on the ocean. I told them to close out and evacuate. I gave my daughter's 16-year-old boyfriend the keys to my car and told him to drive all the kids to his house. I had my van parked at the hotel, so I closed the office and drove to where my employees live to help them evacuate. They live in shacks on the ocean. On a storm tide, waves washed through their homes. I parked in front of their houses, looking out to the sea. Now, my mom always told me that if the ocean ever went out and kept going, I needed to turn around and run to the highest hill I could find. I watched the ocean. It looked calm, too calm, and I watched my watch. 20 minutes. How long was that really? When was the tsunami coming? Was there a tsunami coming? The sea looked beautiful, turquoise, sparkling, the sky cerulean with fluffy white clouds, no sign of the rain that we should have had in September. It was hot and dry and a great place to be from. Please, we've got to get out of here. We are running out of time. Charlie, I don't know where my son is. I don't know where my husband is. I can't leave without my kid. I can't go. I need to get my papers. No one was moving. They were all just standing. Along the ocean, the fishermen were all sitting down to watch the sea, drink in hand, relaxed, waiting. I watched the ocean on my watch. How long was it now? And I thought, so this is how it happens. This is how I die. I'm one of those stupid people who die a heroic death rescuing other people. I'm going to die a stupid death trying to save people too dumb to save themselves. My kids are going to be orphans because I'm too stupid to save myself. Put your kids in the car. I have to leave. It's now or never. What about my TV? What about my pregnant daughter? I have to leave. I have to go now. If there's a tsunami, I need to leave now. I can't leave. So I drove out, and I left a lot of people behind. As I drove past the bus stop, I stopped. I started spacing the car. The ocean was just behind me, but it was easier not looking at it. The woman with a young child hopped in, and I drove out with about 15 people, most of them children. I drove up the hill towards where my child was waiting, not knowing if my business was going to be washed away, not knowing if the beauty of the ocean was going to change and turn into a wave that destroyed the entire town or killed all the people I'd just driven away from. I kept checking the rear view mirror to see if there was a wave following me. That evening, when the tsunami watch was over, I went to work. There was some damage, and all the clients had checked out. My house will probably be condemned, and every aftershock scares me much more than the original earthquake did.